Hi, friends.
Hey there. Welcome, guys, to the 11th episode of the Talkaholics podcast. Thanks for joining us. I hope you actually tuned in for our 10th episode that was last week.
Yes.
I think that both of us really liked that episode.
Yeah,
and there was a lot
probably my favorite.
Yeah, I think easily my favorite. We had a lot of fun recording it, so I hope you guys had a chance to check that out. But today's episode, we really just talk about two main topics that are typical for us to talk about. I think the first being a quick review of Crazy Rich Asians. That was recently released, and we kind of give a lowdown on what we thought the movie was like. And then
like the critique of the movie and stuff like that.
Exactly, yeah. And secondly, we talk about Handmaid's Tale. Not a surprise to you guys, but
well, I finally watched the season finale for season 2, and I was really excited, so we had to talk about it.
Yeah, and we kind of lost your mind. So enjoy that. But if you guys have anything to recommend to us to review for our upcoming podcast, feel free to leave comments in our on our YouTube channel as well as on Instagram, and you can always contact us via Gmail at Talkaholics.
I think there's a comment section on SoundCloud too, right?
Is it really?
I think so.
Oh, that would make sense.
Anyways, just you can reach out to us anywhere.
Yeah.
All right, guys, enjoy the episode. Raazia.
Yes.
Tell me. I gave you homework like 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, are you sure? Maybe it was a month ago.
Dude, stop.
It was like 2 podcasts ago, so that's like a month ago.
Oh, already.
I gave you homework. And like everybody knows, Raazia never does the homework that I give her. So tell me, did you do your homework?
Yes, I did. I watched Crazy Rich Asians. Hooray!
Thank God. Okay, so wait, I have to find my notes. Where did I
made like minor ones too. But yeah, I watched it.
Oh.
I watched it at home, and I don't know. I can see why you have a lot to say about it.
Yes.
And I also have a lot to say about it. So we'll see.
Okay, so first of all, how did you like the movie?
As a movie itself, like entertainment value, if I liked it or not, like just for what it is, I found it like entertaining in that I like movies full of spectacle and stuff, and it reminded me a lot of like Great Gatsby in that it's like all about like pretty sets and like really nice outfits, and so that stuff I was like super
enjoyed.
Yes, I was like so happy about it, especially we'll get to it, but the wedding scene at the end, I was like so happy to
my
see.
God, aesthetically that was
exactly.
so nice.
So I was happy about that, but in terms of like the acting and the plot, like I was not necessarily blown away by it.
No, I don't think you were meant to be blown away though. It was very much a rom-com.
Like almost a painfully like stereotypical rom-com. Like every step of the way I was like, yes, this is supposed to happen. So like just because of that, I was like the predictability kind of threw me off, but I think I got through it because I liked everything I was looking at. But yeah.
I mean, it was predictable. Like, from the beginning, you knew it was going to happen. Yeah. Like, it wasn't something that was going to take you on twists and turns. It was just like a rom-com. You sit there and you watch it, and you're happy at the end.
You say once or twice, and then you're like, okay.
But in terms of, like, the set and stuff, that was beautiful. Yeah. Did you read up on any critique of the movie?
So I saw a lot of headlines again from like I usually follow the Hollywood Reporter, and for them they mainly were just kind of reporting things like how well they were doing financially, like when the movie first premiered, all the hype before it, all the hype after it, what people were saying about the Asian representation. I didn't read too much about that, but I can tell that you have a lot probably to say about that.
Yes.
But from my point of view, I thought that they did a good job in I could tell that every step of the way in the movie they found one opportunity to showcase one part of Asian culture. So there's so many montages of food, for example. Like that's one thing that really, really stuck out to me, of like trying to really highlight what exactly that they eat, and in the cooking processes there's a whole montage dedicated to how dumplings are made. Like there's a whole section for that. So I appreciated that. It's clear that all the characters are from different parts of Asia, right? You don't just have people from Singapore, but the main character is Chinese. I think one's from Thailand or something, Taiwan. So they take different parts, like all the siblings live in different places of Asia, so it's not just like they really tried to show the diversity even within that community, right?
Yeah.
So I appreciated that too, and a lot of tourism stuff for Singapore, big time. Like I'm sure they're gonna see a spike in people visiting their country. But in terms of like representation of what Asian people are like, I found that they really talked about the stereotypes of, in and around like Asian people and their appearance, like parental expectations that were a big thing. Not just with like obviously with the main character and her to-be mother-in-law and then her actual mother, like what those contrasting relationships.
Yeah, and like the whole idea, like how she was the main woman was American Chinese versus like Chinese.
Exactly.
So there was that whole you're not really Chinese.
What does she call herself? A banana? She's a yellow on the outside, white on the inside.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, props to them for creating a film that has an all Asian cast, and that allows for that representation to happen. The biggest critique of the film that I found when I was reading up on it was the fact that it was obviously based in Singapore, but you didn't see a lot of people, like native Singaporeans.
Yeah.
Is that what they're called, Singaporeans?
Yeah, I think
okay.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were critiquing it because, yes, there is a big Chinese population in Singapore, but they were upset because they said that that's not really what Singapore looks like. It's not, you don't just see rich Chinese people everywhere. Yeah. And, there are pockets of Singapore where there are low-income, like, communities, and they were basically upset that you didn't really show true Singapore because there are minorities in Singapore that weren't portrayed in the film, and if they were portrayed, they were portrayed in a very like in low position, so like the cleaners and the cooks and the servants basically.
Sorry, just piggybacking on that really quickly, because my sister-in-law lived in Malaysia for quite a bit because she did her like schooling there.
Oh, okay, cool.
So in Singapore's not too far from Malaysia, so for her, one thing she noticed, I'm glad she brought up, is that throughout the entire movie, like, the actual Singaporean, like, accent was missing, like, almost entirely. So the only person she pointed out, like, in terms of characters in the movie that had that accent and was using it was the main character's best friend's mom. Remember, she visits their house for the first time? Yeah. Like, kind of the bigger woman.
Yeah,
so her accent was like, like, my sister-in-law's like, oh, that's exactly what it sounds like.
Oh.
But someone, like, the main character's, like, boyfriend
had a very like British
it's
accent.
Like what is that, you were born and raised in Singapore?
No, he went to a British school, right? Isn't that what it was?
I don't know. I thought their excuse around that because a lot of countries there have British like institutions in terms of schools, so
and a lot of times if you're well off you go to private schools,
that's how
the English schools are like more UK
that's how based. I think they got away with it, but if you're based in Singapore and there's like one character who's kind of really minor, she's big in one scene and then that's it.
I was reading a lot of articles and there was so basically people were saying it portrays a selective view of Singapore, like it's that view of Singapore, it's a very small percentage of what Singapore actually looks like. And an article mentioned that there was more than 80% of the population that lived in public housing blocks, called HDBs. And so the fact that you didn't see that at all, more than 80% of the population live in these type of housing, and you didn't see that at all in the film was kind of upsetting for some people because like that's reality, right? So imagine you're from Singapore and you're watching this film and you're like, that's not my city at all.
Yeah, and especially for a movie that is technically about representation, I could see why that would be unsettling.
And then someone said, which I thought was funny, and in one of the articles said that the film's depiction of Singapore was as realistic as Gossip Girl is of America. And I found that funny because Gossip Girl is completely not real. And that there was a lack of ethnic minorities, except as a few appearances as servants. And they mentioned that 15% of the country, 15% of the country's citizens are Malay, and 6.6% are Indian. And so where were they in the film?
Exactly.
And there was this a journalist named Kirsten Hahn who said, and this is I quoted her, "The film's producers are well versed in American racial politics and white dominance, but don't seem to have realized that in the Singaporean context of power and privilege, Chinese Singaporeans, especially the super rich ones, are the white people here." And I thought that was really well said because, like she said, the producers of this film know of like the racial politics of film in the Hollywood context. So they should be able to see that when you switch when you move your context around, when you move to a different country, in terms of filming, like you should still be able to see where the racial power lies. Yeah. So that was, I feel like, yes, it's based off of a book, so that puts you under certain restrictions. Right. But as a producer, as a director, as the screenplay writer, all that stuff, like you make certain choices of how the film is gonna look. So you chose not to include these people in the film. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's like what she's basically calling for is like more of a conscience around the like hierarchy within the Singapore country itself. Right?
Exactly.
Coming in from American view, coming in shooting in Singapore. Yeah, we have respect for that, I guess.
So like obviously we can argue both sides, and I think that it could be argued forever because people have something to say, but there was one part so they said that like one might argue that because the film is about Singapore's 1%, it's logical to only show elite spaces, which makes sense. Yes, the film is about like crazy rich Asians, right? That's the title. But the result is a sense of place so wealthy and ethnically Chinese, it feels hermetically sealed from anything or anyone else. Right. And so like it's a false portrayal of the space that they're portraying. So yes, it may be about like the really wealthy, but you always have to be conscious of the fact that no matter, like, even though this is a film, when you show a place that is real, so Singapore is a real place that you can visit, when you portray that to people, especially people who probably will never visit in their lives, you're giving them a certain view of that place. Exactly. So I feel like you're being ignorant to think, people won't think that it's only like, no, like, come on.
Yeah. And I think you have to also be considerate that, like, again, to your point, is that this is probably the first time a lot of audiences have seen Singapore on screen, period. And so are going, wait, there's a place that's not in China that looks like China, kind of thing. Like, like, there's people who have those thoughts and who are kind of ignorant to the fact there are different types of Asians that are not just Chinese or Japanese or whatever, right? So I think it's fair for critics to say, no, we wanted the other side. And it's too much of a caveat to say, well, this movie's about rich Asians. Well,
yeah, exactly.
You're still in a country.
You're still in a country that has more than just rich Asians. Exactly. Like, they're a very small percentage of the country. So, you got to portray what's correct. And there was another journalist, Mark Sang Putterman from The Atlantic, said, the story is one of white norms when representation means literally swapping Asian faces onto white bodies. And those Asian faces are of a certain kind. They're ethnic Chinese, they're Christian, and they're educated in the West. So what is sacrificed is a fuller character of Singapore, one with brown South and Southeast Asians, as well as city spaces that aren't quite so deluxe and perfect. Yeah. And so you don't see a lot of like those ethnic pockets of the country in the movie. I think the only time you really see a less deluxe place is when they go to like that underground like mahjong.
Oh yeah. The
like when she plays against the mom.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
Like where it's like less luxurious. Like you wouldn't expect the mom to know
it's just like of a place like that. Kind of place.
Yeah. So like. That's really the only time you really see something like that.
Now that you mention it, it's probably the only place. Because even when they're in New York, that's still a class. Like, it's still a higher class. It's still, like, I completely get it, actually.
So, I mean, I still think that the film was good. It wasn't the best film I've ever seen in my life. No. The set was beautiful, and it's for people who don't really get to see a lot of, like, Singapore, you get to see different cultures like that. Like, it's really nice to see, like, opulence like that in a different setting, right? Other than, like, the regular American, It's really nice to see, but at the same time, we just have to be conscious that we're not seeing everything. Yeah. So, I'm not saying don't watch the movie, but just have that consciousness in the back of your mind, and just realize that they're not portraying. I think this goes for anything, honestly. For any film you watch, any media that you take in, you just have to be conscious that you're seeing a certain perspective. Yeah. And that if you don't just take everything at face value. Yeah. Learn more about the culture. Look more into Singapore. Like, you know what I mean?
And I think because I was thinking this while watching it, the one thing that Crazy Rich Asians benefited from and completely kind of was under the shadow of was the fact that Black Panther had just come out, and it was the first time a movie, again, you know, a cast that was fully, you know, it's not just a movie about Black people and Black empowerment, but it's a cast that represents exactly that, right? You see completely a representation of that throughout all the actors that are in that movie.
Yeah.
Crazy Rich Asians followed up on that, and so because Black Panther did so well, I think they benefited there in terms of audiences and why they got so much of attention and why they did so well in their opening night. At the same time, I felt like when I was watching it, I was like, I wanted to feel that excited to see people of color on screen for the first time, and that many people, and in this setting, not just in America. But because Black Panther, I mean, I haven't seen it, but because that hype.
You haven't seen Black Panther?
Yeah, we talked about this in a different podcast.
You still haven't seen Black Panther?
Yeah, I still haven't seen Black Panther.
Okay, so you don't have, like, you can't say
okay, but look.
No, but Raazia, I don't understand. You're the Marvel fan.
I know.
I'm confused.
I think we literally talked about this in the first or second podcast.
I've seen Black Panther, like, 3 times.
Okay. I recognize that I need to watch that movie.
I'm shocked.
She's never been more offended in her life.
Oh wow. Okay, sorry. Continue.
No, it's okay. No, but what was I saying? No, it's just that I found that because that movie did so well, and because there was so much hype and like people were excited to see something they'd waited for a long time be on screen.
Yeah.
That I wanted this to kind of. I knew it wasn't going to meet that expectation because it's.
Well, it's a different genre.
It's a different
type of film.
genre, and it's based on a book that like I didn't necessarily. I wasn't excited about either, so it kind of set expectations for myself there. But I don't know. I felt like. Maybe I'm expecting too much out of a rom-com to have like more deeper conversations or have more like nuanced messages about
I think that
culture,
if you came from an Asian background, specifically a Chinese background, you can identify with some of the struggles that the characters faced. Not in terms of like, richness or whatever, but like in terms of the stereotypes that families had, if you came from a certain background in the Chinese setting. So like I can understand why you would be excited to see a movie like this because first of all, you're kind of seeing yourself in the film, which is like exciting. So like if we see a Muslim person, anywhere in film, we're like, yes, exactly. That's not about terrorists.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like we're so excited. If we see a Muslim woman in hijab being just a normal human being, wow, great.
Yeah,
if it's not attached to like terrorism,
literally, even in the background, I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah, right, exactly. Like
an extra.
you know what I mean? We're like, wow.
Sure.
So
yes,
I can understand the excitement you have. When you see yourself in film, and that's the type of thing that we want to see. I still commend this film for doing that. Yeah. But we just have to be like cognizant of the fact that there are
parts that are missing.
There are parts that are missing that are very important to Singapore and to the people who live in Singapore, and that we shouldn't erase that part of them. Yeah. So those are my thoughts on the film. I'm glad that you watched it and we got to talk about it. Yeah. But
there was only one last thing about the movie that it just plot wise that I was kind of confused by when the main character. I can't believe that we don't remember any of their names, but the main character when she.
I have a really bad memory, so I don't.
It didn't stick clearly. But when she first realizes her boyfriend's rich. And like, after they took their first class flight or whatever, and she enters his mom's house. Yeah. Like, there's no real shock or revelation that happens. She kind of accepts it. Like, of course. Yeah. He's rich. I didn't know she's laughing at her. But it's like nothing about like her losing her mind or like. Pulling him aside afterwards, going, "I'm sorry, what?" Like, the transition was too easy.
It was pretty easy. Yeah, you're right.
Of like, oh yeah, of course. You have
she was kind of just like, she was kind of like, wait, why didn't you tell me you're rich? And he was like, oh, I didn't want to.
Yeah, I was just like, what is happening? Like it would that's like a great opportunity.
That's like
for
a huge part.
Yeah, it's either an emotional bit or a comedic part of her going, what?
But you know what? Like I don't remember how long they said that they were dating for. It was a couple of years, right?
Yeah, and they
like if someone doesn't tell you about their family, like that's a warning sign. I mean, it's not like it was bad.
No, but
it's a little bit of a warning sign.
The point is, I was completely missing the shock. As soon as she entered the house, I was like waiting for her to just like, do that whole bit of she's running across the house and like looking at things and pointing at things, going, oh my god, and losing her mind. Yeah. None of that. Like she kind of just accepts it, and it kind of lost. I don't know. That would have been a nice way to like keep her grounded, keep the movie like the momentum going of her gradually seeing how rich they really are. But I don't know. Like that for me, I almost expected it in the movie, and because it wasn't delivered, I was like, that's, for me,
it was
character-wise,
weird, right?
doesn't make sense. But
anyways, I think that's the end of that. We spoke enough about that movie.
But on another actual really good piece of media that I've enjoyed and now Iman's on top of, you just told me that you are done watching Handmaid's Tale.
I actually, you know what? It worked out perfectly because last night I was on the last episode. It was the 13th episode of season 2. I was like, I need to watch this so I can speak to Raazia about this tomorrow. So I watched it, and I'm so mad, Raazia, because it's not coming back till next year.
I know. Okay, I want to know what you thought of the end of season 2.
Oh.
Because I think what I told you...
You know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you told me that, I was like, oh my god, they're going to leave me hanging. I'm going to be upset. So... First of all, you know when you told me that I was going to hate Fred more?
Yeah.
I didn't know, like, how much I was like, yeah, I already hate Fred. Like, I can't hate him more.
Yeah,
I absolutely loathe. I loathe Fred. Fred is the most despicable human being on planet Earth.
Yeah, he's, like,
disgusting.
He's gross, yeah.
Atrocious.
Yeah. Yeah,
he's probably
manipulative to
manipulative.
Like, yeah.
He has some obsession with Offred that he needs to get over. It's creepy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And he loves to leverage her daughter over her.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I'll get you another visit with Hannah if you just have sex with me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly,
what?
More or less. Yeah.
Disgusting. He's perverted.
Yeah.
He's a creep.
Yeah.
I hate him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And his face, like, every time I look at his face, I just want to vomit. It's disgusting. Like, he's so, even his facial expression is so perverse. Ugh.
Yeah, he's a great, the guy playing him.
Yeah,
Just
he's a little too good.
Yeah, exactly.
He's a little too good at his character.
Like, okay, there's something wrong here. But something I noticed, sorry, not to, like,
No.
backtrack from the last episode, but one thing I noticed about his character that they did well, because he kind of gets even worse and worse and worse and worse as this.
Because you started off in the first season, you liked him a little bit, you know.
Because you thought charming.
He was charming. You thought he was nice to Offred, but then he slowly just continuously
kind of gets lifted,
gets worse and worse, and you wonder, like, was this him the entire time, and we just didn't notice because of his like kind of charming like exterior.
Yeah.
But once you get to know more and more about him, and plus like they could offset it, so like he'll do something really bad, but then they'll look into his past with Serena, and you're like, oh, he's kind of cute.
Yeah.
Right, like, and how he used to act with Serena.
They kind of fuck with you as the audience member.
They mix with your mind.
Yeah,
like,
they do that. Which is great. Actually.
Oh, and then Serena, the actress that plays Serena.
I cannot. You know,
she is
do you see why
amazing.
I kind of find her fascinating?
She's so fascinating because
man.
she's
I
like
love her character so
her
much.
character is so conflicted. Yeah. She has so many conflicting ideologies in her mind because she's so, I don't know how she got into
where she is right now.
Where she is now.
Yeah.
But like her religious belief is really conflicts with her belief or with her as a woman, because if you see like when they flash back, she was very independent. Very outspoken, but she still held those beliefs. So even though like she wrote a whole book and she's well spoken, she wrote a whole book, but the whole book was about like women having to go back to that.
Yeah, everything that Gilead stands for.
Yeah, so she's with everything that Gilead stands for, but like she still longs for like the fact that they can't even hold a pen. Like it's blasphemous for them to write or to even read.
Yeah.
And she's like. And you know what really, really struck home? Because I keep forgetting.
I know this. Yeah.
I keep forgetting that they can't read. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it comes up at different periods.
Yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah. And then so the part where Eden, she falls in love with the guard, I didn't like him. Yeah. But she falls in love with him, and she runs away with him. And
we didn't even talk about this. Okay, that
was so sad.
I actually was like,
Nick, what the hell? Why did you rat her out?
Okay, first, no, both of them were just like...
we have a problem.
Yeah, let's just go both tell Fred about this.
What the hell?
Let her go. You can put one and one, like two and two together to know that
they knew what happened. They knew what happened, and they were like, oh, let's tell Fred.
And I was like, you have no... And after, like...
No, but actually, you know what? We found out? Her dad turned her in.
Yeah, and
that was like... It didn't want to matter, but like that was rude.
But that I was like,
that was so sad.
Watching that entire scene of her getting off that diving board, I
didn't like her.
Really?
She was so freaking annoying. Oh, she was so whiny. He doesn't love me. No.
But I don't know.
I'm here. I'm doing God's work. La la la. Like she was so annoying. But like the whole point was she was only 15 years old.
Yeah.
and she's forced to marry. Well, forced, like she's brainwashed to believe that in her, like, religiously she
has
is,
a certain role.
You know, she has a certain role, and she's doing this for God. So, like, her mind is so, like, she's so young, she's still so innocent, and she believes that all she's doing is for God.
Yeah. I know.
So, yeah, there's this whole thing in Nick. Anyways, I didn't I like Nick, but, you know, that whole relationship and, like, that whole thing was just, it put me off. Yeah. She was only 15 years old. Like, that's, I mean, I get they don't have law about that anymore, but that's, like, statutory rape. Like,
no, it's not even that. Like, I felt like Nick was, like, in the weird, precarious, like, position at that time, because he knows, like, if he doesn't keep up his, like, relationship quotes, with Eden, that he would get ratted out, or, like, she will say something to Serena, and then meanwhile he wants to stay faithful to Offred. So he's just put in, like, this weird...
I don't like the relationship. They need to stop.
Nick and Offred?
I hate that.
Why?
I'll come back to it. Hold on.
Okay.
Eden.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was really annoying.
Yeah.
But I felt so bad because, like, especially so when they find the Bible.
Yeah. Okay. This
which
is the part.
I'm still confused about, like, in terms of where their religion comes from.
Okay.
Like, it's some offset. It's some, like, branch of Christianity.
Yeah. It's
right?
not it's not like.
It's not Christianity. It's not the Bible, they decided, we'll write a whole new one.
It's a sect, more or less. Yeah.
Anyways, but when they found the Bible, it didn't hit me. Because I forgot they couldn't read or write. So when they opened it and there's, like, notes all over it, I was like, why are they so surprised? You know what I mean? It's a Bible, whatever.
Yeah.
And then she goes to Serena and she's like, look what I found.
Yeah, and then
she's like, they wrote all the notes. And then I'm like, why are they still... And then Serena goes, oh, she was hiding a lot of sins. I was, like, so confused. I was like, why is it a sin? I'm so confused.
Yeah.
And then when Offred was like, she was just trying to understand God. Mm-hmm. And then...
which I actually love that line.
Yeah, she's just trying to understand God. I was like...
that.
I was like, yes, okay, okay, I'm getting there.
Yeah.
And then Serena said something along the lines of, like, what did she say? She was just like...
Well, the whole point, like, they allude to the fact that she's writing in it. She has a book with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
and then so basically Offred said something, like, along the lines of, what are you, like, how are you going to teach your daughter, or something like that.
How to read and write.
Yeah, and then she was like, oh, my daughter is going to... I'm going to teach my daughter the word of God. And she's like, what did she say? She said a line and it was so powerful. She was like, she won't be able to read the word of God. Like, how will she understand the word of God if she can't even read the word of God? And that was, like, so, I was like, oh yeah, they can't read. But it was so powerful, and that's really what started to change Serena's mindset. Yeah. And then they had that whole situation where Serena tried to, you know, force the wives, like, bring the wives together.
Yep. Yeah.
For the good of their children.
I was, like, clapping for the entire
I know.
I was like, yes, Serena,
when they brought them together and then they come in. Oh, but the men, they're also, like, ugly. I hate them. So, like, when Serena came in by herself and then that commander was like to Fred, did you forget your lunch? I was like, excuse me?
Yeah, exactly.
What the
hell?
But
that whole scene after that point of when she goes to court with all the other women.
And all the women come, and then she starts reading from the Bible, and the women, one by one, like, start leaving her.
Yeah.
I was like, how dare you?
Yeah, exactly. You can't show up and then go, sorry, I wasn't involved.
Right? No, you can't.
No, but even right after that scene where, they bring her home, and she clearly was, sorry?
It's making so much noise. Okay.
Oh, it's okay. When they, when Fred brings her home and Offred is watching her walk up the stairs, you put two and two together and you know
something happened to her.
She was beaten to, like, bits. Like, you could tell, like, she was
we thought she was beaten. That's what I thought. I thought she was beaten. But then then we saw, like, the finger.
Oh, and that thing too. Yeah.
I don't think she was beaten.
Well,
I think they just cut off her finger, and obviously she's shaken off.
Maybe.
The fact that they cut off her finger because she wanted to ask for, like...
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
But, like, every scene... Because that happened a lot, I found, in the second season of, like, Fred is disciplining her every step of the way.
Yeah, when Fred hit her... When Fred beat her in front of Offred.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was so sad. But I love the scene where Fred slaps Offred and Offred slaps him right back in the face. Yeah. I was like, yes, I clapped. I was like, Offred, yes. And he can't do nothing to you.
Exactly.
Because he has this weird obsession with you.
Exactly. He needs you more or less. Yeah. He needs you not just for his desire, but for keeping his kid alive. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, oh man, there's so many, like, cause it's been a while since I've watched the last season, and so, like, you're bringing everything back for me. But
and, like, what else? There were so many parts of just, like, the last, like, 2 episodes that were phenomenal.
Yeah, there's
a
lot that happened in that
there was
season.
a whole thing happening with Emily on the side and that weird commander dude. He's
weird.
But,
okay, come on. As soon as she goes into that house with her new, like, her new home. I knew right away.
Oh yeah, I knew that it was good. No, but I don't know because he was one of like the architects of Gilead.
Right, and he was
so
like he's in the background financially too. Like he
started everything. You know what I mean? Like he's the one who so I think he's feeling guilty.
Yeah.
And what he does is because he's feeling guilty and what he sees what's become of Gilead and what's happening. I think he's trying to give back in a way of like releasing Handmaids.
But it's like a typical for me, like because when they enter his house, he's playing music and there's art all over the walls.
Yeah.
I'm like, first of all, that probably isn't allowed in Gilead, and second of all, if knowing Margaret Atwood, that's like a sign of like a liberal, free thinking person.
Exactly.
Right? So I was like, okay, he's good. Like even though they every step of the way they're trying to make.
I was waiting for him to do something weird, but like. Yeah.
Because, like, they try to convince you because he has, like, the other servant that,
has no eye.
Has no eye, and his wife's, like, kind of crazy, like a hermit, I guess, and then, but I knew it. I was like, he's gonna help Emily. He's not gonna
and when she stabbed Aunt Lydia?
Yeah.
I was like, hallelujah.
Yeah, but it was like, I was like shaking in that entire scene.
Yeah, me too.
Like, oh my god, it was like, what are you
My
doing?
heart was like beating. My heart was beating because when she was like, when Aunt Lydia was like, it's like I cut your tongue out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's the last straw because they mutilated her body, and in probably one of the worst ways for a woman. And like, she had that knife, and I was like, oh, she gonna kill her today. And then, but the thing is, I was reading up on spoilers for season 3, and he said she's coming back, so she's not dead. Aunt Lydia's not dead.
Well, and that's the thing too of like she stabs her, and I know she's not fully,
stabs her in the back.
And she's not fully dead. But my whole thing is you followed through with it. Why not just kill her?
Because the servant found her. The Martha found her, and so no, the Martha took her and put her in the room. Remember? Oh, and then she called the commander to call the ambulance, and I was like, oh shoot. So, but the thing is, I was reading up on like season 3, and a writer of the article was like, it's gonna change Lydia's view, Aunt Lydia's view, because one of her girls literally stabbed her in the back.
Exactly.
So,
and that's all.
Because Aunt Lydia has a very convoluted view of the world as well, because she is and we don't know Aunt Lydia's backstory. Like we know nothing about Aunt Lydia, right?
True, yeah.
The only thing we get is a glimpse of when she said she was the godmother for her sister's baby. What was it? She said Aunt Lydia. She said something about her sister's child, right? It was her niece or nephew or something. That's the only time she ever reveals something about her past before Gilead. Yeah. So there is something that has put her in the path that she's in. So we don't know anything about her past, but she has a love for the handmaids. Yeah. We've seen that. We've seen that through what's her name? Janine?
Yes,
we've seen that through Janine. Her and Janine's relationship, like she's kind of let a lot of things slide for Janine because she has that like love. Because Janine acts more or less like a child. You know what I mean?
So she needs more caring. Yeah. Exactly.
So with that, we see that even though she thinks she's doing what's best for the handmaids, because she has this idea of like religiously she has a certain role to play. Yeah. So we know that she has a convoluted look of the world, and like she loves these women. So the fact that one of them stabbed her in the back, I think, is gonna kind of
fuck with her,
skew her way of looking at the world.
Yeah, because the only thing I think she held on to, like, I think she is a big proponent of supporting Gilead's like message or what they stand for is because of how she views the women. So like that's how she sees her role in that, you know, like small society. Yeah. But with that, and it's true what you're saying, now that she's kind of faced the wrath of one of them physically, she's not gonna be kind anymore. She's not gonna be so nice. So that's gonna be interesting because I think she was like, I really hated Aunt Lydia from the beginning.
Oh,
she's
I hate her. She's like so vile,
and
she is one of the worst.
Condescending, women. And it's bad. So okay, but looping back to the last episode, because I feel like I thought a lot of it ramped up as it should. Like it was like perfect to set up a season finale in terms of like everything that happened prior to it. There was a lot of change in all the different characters that are involved, which Handmaid's Tale does flawlessly. I feel like they keep the momentum of every single like character, side plot running at the same time that Offred's experiencing everything. Yeah. So I was excited for it, but I was kind of disappointed at the decision Offred makes at the very end when she gets the out.
I knew it. The minute she was sitting in that like field of the crops and stuff, she brings out the picture of Hannah and she says to Holly/Nicole, like, this is your older sister. And then she says you might meet her one day, and then she says you're going to meet her one day. Right. And I was like, okay, Offred has made a decision.
Yes, exactly.
However, Offred didn't know that she was gonna see Emily. Like, she didn't know she was going to be with Emily.
Yeah.
So I think Offred at that point made the decision, okay, I have to go back for Hannah, but she didn't know who she was going to give Nicole to, how she was going to do that. Yeah. But then the minute she saw Emily was going to be with her, that
was the opportunity.
But yeah, the minute she knew that Emily was going to be with her, she made that decision. She's like, Emily's like, you know, she knows Emily's character. She knows that she's a good person. So she feels safe to leave her baby with her and then to go back.
Yeah, that was definitely her opportunity. But I think why I was so frustrated by the last episode is because, like, you finally, like, a whole group of other people, what are they called?
The Marthas, yeah.
I was going to say the Marys. The Marthas, they banded together without you knowing to ensure that people like you are
like they put forth an effort. They risked their lives.
Yeah, and they were successful at it. Like, they got you out and that you have a ride back to wherever you need to be back. Yeah. I assume in Ontario, right? Because that's where they're all leading to.
Yeah.
So I was frustrated in that moment. I get you have a daughter that you've committed to, you know, saving, getting her back, whatever. But in my head, I'm like, isn't it easier to just go back to Ontario or whatever in Toronto, band with the people who are, you know, already working to get these people out?
You are a witness to Gilead. You are a witness. I mean, Emily is as well, of course. Yeah. But like, you are a witness to everything that's been happening. You have a story to tell, and you can have the Canadian government backing you up.
Exactly. And how realistic is it for you to by yourself somehow find where Hannah's located?
Exactly.
And then, you know, survive all the way getting back? Like, it's just, for me, like,
it doesn't really make sense.
It wasn't even a logical decision, and I found it for the first time Offred was being outright selfish. Like, I just found that, like, with her surviving too also gives the Marthas away, in that, because, like, if everyone got away safely at once, like, it's done. It's a successful mission. No one's in trouble. But because she's an outlier, you know, they have an idea of figuring out how they organize things.
Exactly.
So I was, like, actually frustrated at the end, going,
and, like, what does she think is gonna happen?
Yeah.
Fred knows that she took the baby.
Exactly.
Serena, Serena gave her the baby. Serena.
And I know. Okay, that was pretty heartbreaking.
That was such a sad.
That was heartbreaking. Again, but acting from that.
Serena, like, the way she was like, you know what? Like, Serena, I understand. Serena's so complex. Like, she really, you can see that she loves this baby. Like, and no matter what, like, the baby is not hers, of course, but the way she cares for the baby and the way that she loves the baby, like, she treats it as if it's her own child. And the way she, of course, got this baby is a very selfish and very disgusting, convoluted way of achieving a child.
Yeah.
But she's still, like, you know, like, there's so many sides. There's a side I hate about Serena, and there's a side I love about Serena.
Exactly.
So it was just so sad to see her separate.
But that scene alone, was like,
was like heartbreaking. But, like, you deserve it, because you know what? That child was never yours.
Exactly. It's not even that of, like,
and you never deserved that child.
To give, because of the discussion they had in that greenhouse place with the Bible, she kind of, that was her turning point of, like, actually, I don't want my child to be growing up here. So I think that was more of a driver for her to give off the kid. But also too, what?
But you know what I want to say? Sorry. I had this, like, kind of, like, revelation about Serena, a possibility about Serena, because remember when they went to Canada and Serena met that man?
Yes, I actually loved that scene. I was like,
he offered her a way out.
Okay, we didn't even talk about that whole episode. That was really good.
That whole episode was amazing. I loved it. I was like, yes, Canada.
That was actually probably one of the better episodes in season 2.
I love that episode.
Fucking love it.
But, like,
and then when Nick and Thing meet, did you not have a heart attack? I was like, oh, this is bad. What is happening?
When they met, when Nick and her husband met, that's another reason why I don't like Nick and Offred.
I find that so interesting. That
I hate their relationship. I'm like, Offred, you know your husband's alive. He loves you. He's out there waiting for you.
But he also is not searching for her.
Yeah, I was mad at him.
Yeah,
I was mad at him. You know that part where Moira's like, don't you want to know if she's okay? And he's like, she's not okay.
Yeah.
He's
just
have faith that she's alive.
Yeah.
I was like, what? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Your child and wife have been stripped away from you, and you're just sitting here living your life.
Library looking every single night. Like,
and she knows her fiance's dead, and she's still looking for her. Like, and you can't look for your alive wife. Yeah, I was mad at him too. But, like, stop. Nick is, like, probably, like, 10 years younger than her. What are you doing? I'm sorry.
But I think because it's not that I like Offred, it's that I like Nick.
Why do you like Nick?
Because...
Okay, wait, hold on. Before we go on, Serena's revelation, hold on, let me talk about it. So when
jumping all over the place.
Okay. So when she's at the bar and the guy comes up to her and he's like, he knows everything about her and all that stuff, and he wants to give her a way out. He's like, we can send you to Hawaii or whatever it is.
Yes, yeah.
And there's science. He tells her, if you want a child, we can get that for you. Like, science, like, technology, everything has improved so much that we can find a way for you to have a child. And she outright says no because she has this belief that, you know, religiously, all this stuff, right? But I was thinking, you know how in season 1 you find out that it's not, it's Fred that's the issue. Fred cannot he's the one who can't have a child. So is Serena still biologically able to have a child?
She should be able to,
So what the hell is she doing? Why she was still with Fred? I'm so confused. Well, I mean, obviously, like, there's a whole background to things. She obviously still loves him in some sort of way.
I mean, I don't think it's as easy as leaving him.
No, it's not as easy as... But the fact that...
to stay.
Yeah, there's that, of course, too. But the fact that someone gave her a way out, like, and...
But he's coming back. Come on, you know that he's coming back. Like,
oh no, 100%. That guy's coming back.
Yeah.
She can have a child biologically.
Yeah.
And the fact that she's still allowing for things like that to happen, not that she has much of a, you know, say in how things happen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that just brings me back to how manipulative Fred's words are. Like the way he says, like the way he makes her believe that she has some sort of power. And then when she tries to enforce change, she gets a finger cut off. Like, you know what I mean?
No.
And that just goes to show, like, the way it seems like society works there is that the women who are in lower positions, so, like, the handmaids and all that stuff, like, they're the ones who are treated disrespectfully badly. But then when something like that happens to a really respected wife of a commander, you know that it's not the position that makes you disrespected. It's the fact that you're a woman. Like, just blank point, you're a woman.
Which I love what the show puts that across very frankly of, like, you know, it starts off showing that women come at different degrees in this society, but at the end of the day you're a woman. At the end of the day, so you better not open your mouth because you're done. At any level, at any
they also show that when they send one of the wives to the colonies. Remember that?
Yes.
And then remember she gets sent to the colonies and everybody hates her, and then Emily poisons her.
Unfaithful.
Emily poisons her.
She's crazy, man. Emily's crazy.
I love Emily.
She's crazy. What I was gonna say though, to your point about like whether or not Serena can still conceive.
Yeah.
One thing that alluded to that she can't, and I like really discussed this.
When
she
got shot.
When she got shot.
I thought that's where they were going with it, because when she got shot in the stomach, I was like, oh shoot, maybe that's why she can't have children. Yes. Because I keep forgetting that Fred is the damn problem.
Yeah.
But. But yeah, I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna say, oh, like in the hospital report, like, oh, you know, like. You shot, you know, something is wrong, you can't have babies. Right. But they never say that.
But they never say that. So, but here's what that scene was so telling. Because I thought the whole reason why she wrote the book, why she was campaigning with Fred this entire time, was she was so passionate about, you know, fertility rates are dropping, therefore we need to do something. Yeah. That all was driven by her experience of being infertile.
That's what I thought too.
But it's not. But it's not. Because even if that her getting shot is the reason why she can't conceive, it's after the fact. It was literally after a protest.
So what? That's what I want to know. I want to know why Serena is so invested in this.
Yes. Why does she care?
Where did this? No, I really think the root of it is, where did this religion come from? Like, where did it come from?
I mean, no. So it developed out of.
First, well, of course, it's out of Christianity.
No, not even that. It's the world was experiencing infertility rates, like an alarming rate. So Serena proposed for society to have things like handmaids, so that
but the thing is, this religion existed before the whole thing about handmaids and stuff like that.
No, for sure. But I'm saying it's out of those. It's out of Serena doing those campaigns, and then what was something innocent to say, fertile women have fertile women have the, the right, the responsibility to make sure that all the other families are able to bear children too, right? So, but that, what was, I think, an innocent idea at the time became something a lot more convoluted, a lot more dark and gross, and became Gilead because of Fred's influence. Because, as you notice, as she's campaigning and stuff, it's Fred that's giving her the in on everything. That's No, encouraging her, and I think then took her politics and became the commander that he is now. Like he abused her in more than one way.
I agree, right? But the thing is, the whole idea, like the whole religion that they believe in, it was already there. It's what they already believed in. Do you get what I'm saying? She already believed in that. Like, the whole idea, like, lust is a sin. You can't have relationships with your husband. Like, the whole idea where women have to obey like, that whole religious belief was already there before she was campaigning. So where did it come from?
See,
that's what I want to know.
After the fact, I don't know. Yeah, I don't
because
know.
they show scenes, like, they were already believed, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that they were.
And obviously it's not something that was very widespread because
it was just kind of them too.
Yeah, it was just them.
And yeah.
So I really want to know. But anyways, like, we gotta wrap this up because we've been talking a little too much about this show.
Yeah.
There's a lot to come. I'm really, really excited for the next season, and you know, but I was reading on like I said, I was reading on an article like kind of like spoilers on season 3 and stuff, and the producer or whatever the show was saying, like, obviously it's based on the book by Atwood. And
don't tell me any spoilers.
I'm not. No.
Okay.
It's not. But like he says that the way Atwood wrote the book was that it's like it talks about Gilead in like present time, and then it goes 200 years in the future.
Oh, okay.
And then goes over it. So people were saying that he was straying away from the book, but really he said that he is kind of staying within what happened in those 200 years. But he's doing it at a slower rate than what... Because Atwood goes over it really quickly, apparently. So, I think that we're going to see the fall of Gilead.
Interesting.
I don't know if we're going to see it next season.
Well, it has to happen. Like,
but I think we're going to see... And
arc.
he said that it's going to be about, like, 10 seasons long. That's how he's seen it.
10
so, we'll see. I don't know if it's going to be how it's really going to go, but we're going to see the fall of Gilead. We're going to see it, and I'm excited to see it.
I mean, 10 seasons sounds daunting in that, like, I want it to be... Not that I want it to be short. I'm not going to complain about having extra Handmaid Tales episodes. Come on, I live for this. But God, I feel like with a show like this that's so emotionally intense, that it does better in a short kind of mini-series kind of space.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. We'll see with how they go with it. And just... I was saying before that there's something related to this that I wanted to talk about. I had watched the Emmys last week.
Oh, yeah.
It had happened. And I don't know if you had tuned in to watch, but I typically always watch every award show that happens, whether it's like the Grammys or Oscars or whatever. The Emmys was disappointing on a Handmaid's Tale front because they were nominated for like... A lot of things. Like, I think it was 7 nominations. And they won for nothing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, dear.
So I was like...
Wow.
Really? Like, because I thought the second season was actually really, really good and held up to the first season.
Yeah.
And the first season they won an Emmy for. The first season had won an Emmy last year for best... Whatever that final award is, like best TV show basically on right now. But because Game of Thrones likes to conquer everything when it comes to these things, they practically overtook every single thing they were nominated for, which was frustrating. Because even this year, unlike last year, Serena's actor was nominated, Aunt Lydia was nominated, Emily was nominated, and of course, the girl who plays Offred. So very frustrating, but a really good show. Like the Emmys was, like, other than that aspect, I think it was Michael Che and Colin whatever from SNL. They were hosting. It was really, really funny.
I missed it. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it was really, really, really funny. But other than that, like, disappointing. But what are you gonna do? There's always next year. There's always next year.
I mean, I guess.
All right, guys. So thanks so much for tuning into our 11th episode of the Talkaholics podcast.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the Handmaid's Tale. I mean,
yeah, it was really just 2 topics: Crazy Rich Asians and this. So
but we're trying to stick to the 45-ish minute.
Yeah, however long this is gonna end up being.
We'll end that for today, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Alrighty,
bye.